Welcome to Chatterbix, everyone.
Didn't get that whole sentence. Welcome to
Chatterbix. I don't want to, if a guest ever listens back to this, go, oh, sorry to putting you out, David. It's just because I just feel tired.
They don't listen back.
No. No, they don't.
They move on.
In fact, this is... No one will be listening to this bit.
No, it's fucking point. I thought that. We said in the last one, there's no point doing this.
Well, this isn't a surprise guest, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so they might.
So this we should be saying something useful. Should we say
so today, yeah, go on.
No, you do it.
No, you do it.
No, I don't want to.
Today we're talking to Richard Osman. You know Richard, don't you?
I know Richard, yes. I really like Richard. He's lovely. Very nice man. Genuinely lovely man. And I am... Right, I'm going to be honest. I'm intimidated around him.
What, because of his intelligence?
Big old brain, yeah. We've talked about this before, but...
I'm not. I want to go head-to-head with him.
I'd love to watch him batter you mentally.
Oh, that's nice.
But he would.
Love to watch him batter you mentally. That's nice. On Mental Health Day, or whatever it is today.
Clip, cancel, crap.
Batter you mentally.
It's all right to say, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's going in, whether you email me and say take it out or not.
You have all the power, don't you?
It really is. Is Richard super clever?
Yeah, but like, he's so clever he doesn't have to wield it.
Who wields it that you know who isn't that clever?
Well, no, I don't want to say a name, but some people sort of... Well, I can think of four.
Well,
immediately.
Text me. 4, very specific. And a sketch group. The goodies.
Oh my God, I sent it to them. I started writing their name in the top, you know.
Whose? Oh, right. Oh, so you know them well enough to be on your
Actually,
phone.
this is terrible. No, it's terrible.
Come on! Tell me.
Okay. Fucking hell. Right, I'll put 1. I can't be bothered to write 4.
Why?
But,
it'll take you 25 seconds.
I'm just going to send 1.
Do you know what? I'm going to have a guess. I'm guessing who this person is.
Oh, go on then. Text me.
I don't think I'm going to be right. Is this one of the 4? I don't think this is going to be right, but I'm going for it anyway.
New game show. Yes.
You're joking?
Yes. No, I'm not. Yeah, and this is why.
Oh, spooky. Yeah. We could never be.
I think Richard almost hides his, like, he's so normal. Like, when you sort of talk to him, you sort of go, oh yeah, that's insightful. All right. Okay, but it's not like clever clogsy. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like he's hiding his light under a bushel. Is that do you say bushel?
Ask Richard. First question.
Here he is. That's a relief, isn't it?
Hello.
Hi, Richard.
Wow.
Hey, everyone.
How are you?
I'm really well. How are you boys?
Yeah, good. Good. Where are you?
At home in London.
Oh, you're at home.
In West London.
In the wet. Oh,
Lovely to meet you, Richard.
You haven't met David, have you?
I haven't. How are you, David? A long time
really
listener, first time caller.
Do you listen?
God, really? No, don't ask that question, Joe.
Oh God!
Don't put him under pressure.
Have you listened to any of our episodes?
Yes, I was listening this very morning to you talking about Right Set Fred.
Oh God!
and
I
Noel
grew up in
Edmonds.
East Grinstead, Richard. Let's talk. I grew up in East Grinstead. Let's talk West Sussex.
You grew up in East Grinstead?
Yeah.
Is this on air so far? Are we just? Is this how we're doing it?
This is.
You're not happy with how it's gone so far?
This is it, Richard.
This is it.
Do you
Great.
think
Look,
this
listen,
is unput-outable?
just so long as I know, because sometimes
Yeah.
when you go on radio shows, you sort of walk in a radio studio, and they're so casual. They'll be like, they're saying, "Hey, how are you? Nice to see you," and you want to go. So, I'm so sorry. Are we on air, or or are we still listening to Huey Lewis and the news? I can't work it out.
Do we need to apologise?
What have we done that's either incorrect or unconventional? Which of those is it, do you think?
What have you done that's incorrect?
Yeah, the way we do it, do you think it's incorrect or unusual or
Yeah, listen,
like
I
turning
think
the whole
it's
format upside down?
knowing your work, both of you. I think everything you do is to be expected. I think you are certainly not broadcasting out of character. I'll say that.
Right.
But listen, I'm really happy to talk about East Grinstead.
Oh yeah,
David's really keen.
Did you go to You didn't go to Warden Park, did you?
Did I go to Warden Park, David? Yeah, just a bit.
Did I beat Warden Park 4-0 in a football match? Yes, I did.
Did you?
Did you score?
Was I in goal? Doubt it. How old are you, David?
Well, I've just looked up your age. I wonder if we sort of. I'm 48.
No, 51. That's why you won 4-0.
Were you a keeper? Richard?
Do you mean in relationships or?
I bet you are.
I think I bring something to the table, Joe. Yeah.
On the table.
Yeah. So I was. Funny enough, I was down in I was down in Sussex this weekend.
Richard.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I was sat on the sofa Saturday night, and my God, I nearly said sister then. My wife said, she went, "Oh, look at this. Someone had taken a photo of you in Forest Row."
Yeah. Yeah.
And she went, "I hate people who do things like that. Why can't they just let him enjoy his afternoon?" And I thought, I'm going to talk to him about Forest Row.
Oh, isn't it lovely, Forest Row?
I bumped into Ben Elton in Forest Row.
Yeah, I bumped into Ben Elton a few weeks ago. First time I've ever met him. I was so, like someone who is so important in your childhood, and then you meet them and they're lovely. I was so thrilled he was nice.
Oh, was he lovely?
Yeah.
I was talking to him and Aid Edmondson, and I was sort of, I was having like an out of body experience.
Oh,
fucking hell.
Yeah. Richard, I've got more to say. I lived in Hartfield.
The Forest Row, lovely part of the world.
I've just moved from Hartfield to Devon.
You have?
Do you know Hartfield? Yeah, do you know Hartfield?
Oh, do I know Hartfield?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in Hartfield last week.
Hello.
Food corner.
Yeah, I've just moved from there.
You have not.
Yeah, I have.
How are you affording that? That's massive.
Oh no, we had the shit one at the bottom.
It's broken up. To be clear, Richard, it's broken up into many, many flats.
Is it? But Hartfield is lovely.
Yeah.
So my friend Eddie Shaw, who I was at school with, lots of Hartfield kids at Warden Park, my school. Eddie Shaw, he lived there. His mum lives right next to Pooh Corner.
Right.
Mrs. Shaw.
Kate Blanchett. I was working in the cafe in Forest Road. Kate Blanchett walked in.
Writing in the cafe, not working in the cafe.
No, I wasn't serving. I was writing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I feel like you're zoning out a bit now.
No, I'm not at all. Oh, no, what I want to say is, because we're thinking maybe, well, because I'm from Sussex, maybe we'll move back to Sussex at some point. So we were sort of looking around. And all that bit, people don't know Sussex. Some people, Joe, might not know Sussex as well as David and I.
Well, no, for example, me.
That part of Sussex. Well, that's because you're from Hogue, which pretends to be Sussex, but isn't at all.
Yeah.
So that part of Sussex.
Well, yeah, we are Sussex.
It's called Ashdown Forest.
I was in Ashdown Forest on Sunday.
And it's the most beautiful. People don't know about it. It's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's such a lovely place. So peaceful. And I went to the sort of school. Warden Park's a big comprehensive school in the middle of Sussex. And so many people who went there stayed in Sussex. So they're all still around in Sussex. So when I go back there, all my friends still live there. So you sort of think, oh, maybe I should go. Can you ever go back, Joe?
No, God, no.
No?
No, my thoughts are no.
But how old are you?
Because I'm 47.
Okay.
I I've got to be honest. David said to me before this podcast, I really want to speak to Richard about Sussex.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he meant it.
No, I'll talk about it all day.
I didn't think it'd go in this hard.
Do you remember the Beast of Ashdown Forest? Do you remember the Beast?
Yeah, I do.
What's the Beast of...
I thought it was you, David, no?
I saw it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Did you really?
I've got a story about this.
Tell us about it. Paint us a picture.
I was working at a petrol station on a road between East Grinstead and Tunbridge Wells when I was 18. I went around the back of the petrol station to have a fag or something, and I saw it in the woods.
How big? How close?
I can't remember. It had a muscular back, and it was quick. And it shot
You sure it wasn't a
off into
motorbike?
Well, I went into the shop and I said, "I've just seen it," and the guy went, "Sure, it wasn't a bin bag?" "Oh yeah, it's a fucking bin bag, mate." "No, it was the Beast." And anyway, the forest ranger came in, and I said,
Yeah.
"I think I've seen it." He went, "Yeah, absolutely."
Did they find out what it was? Was it like a cougar or something?
Don't know.
Did these things exist because people in the 80s, like rich people in the 80s, were buying like dangerous animals, and then the law changed and they just let them go? Is that true?
Yeah, I think there's lots of private zoos, aren't there? Especially in that neck of the woods. Kent, Sussex.
Are there loads of private? What?
Yeah, there's Howlett Zoo Park. That's down there.
What are we talking? Like
Like 500.
500 private zoos in the Sussex area.
Hippos, rhinos, all sorts.
Yeah.
What a county!
Yeah, it was like Tiger King back there. Way before that. Yeah.
I'm going to go one step further and say I lived in Balcombe for 5 years.
I know Balcombe so well. Some friends of mine live in Balcombe and they own the pub. Everyone in Balcombe owns the pub. So they were going to shut the pub down in Balcombe.
Yes.
Such a good
I know.
business. And all the villagers said, we're going to team up. We're going to join together. And the Half Moon in Balcombe, lovely pub if you're ever down there.
Is that the one that's on the triangle sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to go around, do you know Balcombe Viaduct, the big...
I've had my photo taken underneath it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really exciting. But we used to, when I was a teenager, you used to have to run around the 13th column of that 13 times at midnight, and then a ghost would appear. So we used to do that.
I genuinely wouldn't have done that.
It was quite scary. And also, by the time you go around 7 times, you're a little bit out of puff anyway.
Yeah, it's a big old thing to run around 13 times, isn't it?
Because the guy who built that, so that would be the 1880s or something, he killed himself before it opened because he was terrified that it wouldn't stand up. It was terrified it wouldn't. And look at it, 150 years later, it's still there.
What, the responsibility of it? Is
It all got too much for him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow. See, everyone's listening now. They're all leaning in. This is a good episode.
Yeah, you see.
I thought it wasn't going to be.
You mentioned Balcombe. There used to be the Balcombe disco as well every month. That used to be the big,
The viaduct did.
not the viaduct, but in Balcombe there was the Balcombe disco every month. That was the big social occasion in mid Sussex, as we would more accurately call it.
Right.
Everyone at Warren Park went to the Balcombe disco.
We ran a comedy club in Cookfield 5 years ago.
That's where I was this weekend. I was doing the Cookfield Book Festival, or as my publisher calls it, the Cuckfield Book Festival. Cookfield is spelled C-U-C-K, field, and people cannot handle the fact that it's Cookfield.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Cuckfield.
No, there's Uckfield. That's called Uckfield.
There is Uckfield.
But Cuckfield
We're
is
going there
Cookfield.
soon.
It couldn't be simpler.
Should we go through every town and
Yes,
what we
please.
know?
Anstey is Anstey. Anstey is Anstey, sorry. I mean, they're all... Ardingly is Ardingly. I mean, this is... People from Sussex are going to be loving this. Everybody else
Sussex will have pulled over at this point.
I feel like Richard might do a diary like Kenneth Williams, and this today will be, I've met this prat on Zoom.
Honestly, this is no one. I keep having to do Zoom calls with like China and America and stuff like that, and nobody talks to me about the villages of mid Sussex. I haven't spoken about Bolney or Calfold at any point.
I'm happy to go there.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Bolney, lovely.
I got a lovely 96 against Bolney in the cup.
No, really.
Yeah, lovely innings. Fantastic.
Here's the thing about Sussex, though. Okay, it's about to become the best wine region in the world
because of Bolney.
There's vineyards everywhere now because it's exactly like Champagne, but because of global warming, it's just got a little bit warmer.
Look, is
Right.
it? Oh my God! There's Allbourne. Is that near there?
Yeah, Allbourne's around there.
Just
Yeah,
trying to get involved, Joe.
I did a walk in Allbourne and I saw there was a
15
vineyard.
miles
Goodbye.
down the
Yeah.
road.
Nye Timber, Joe. That's near you.
Nye Timber. What is that?
That's a sparkling wine. That's a vineyard in Sussex.
God, I thank you for trying to involve me. I appreciate it, Richard. That's the kind of chap Richard is. He could see I was like that.
Yeah.
God.
I went to
Wish I'd lived
Imberhorn.
in-
I went to Imberhorn. Do you remember Imberhorn in East Grinstead?
No. Do you know what East Grinstead? My only real connection with East Grinstead is that's where the Scientologists are, right? That's where they're
Yeah,
based.
I've been there.
And my mum used to, for years, she used to stuff envelopes for them. It was like one of those things where you get paid 0.01p. And so we had loads of Scientology stuff in our house. And we sit down and, he'd see all these kind of envelopes and send them out to Scientologists. So I was fascinated in it. But yeah, it's just up the road from you.
Yeah. Yeah, I went in there when I was about 18 for A-level. We made some project, some video, interviewed them. Saw L. Ron Hubbard's supposed office.
Isn't that where Tom Cruise sometimes stays around there or something? I read in the
He's got a
paper.
house in Dormans Park. I think.
The amount you two know about this.
Oh, have I told you my little story? My sister and my brother-in-law, they went to a place called Alexander House.
Oh, yes.
Turners Hill. Do you know Turners Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove through that this weekend.
Yeah. So they went for a meal there. And
This is great prep for the podcast, driving around Sussex.
I know, if I'd known. That's amazing. Can I say you something?
Making notes.
Very quickly. The traffic in Turners Hill, it's like you're in London.
Oh, it's shocking.
There's that junction, the crossroads.
It's the junction,
You're stuck there for like 10 minutes. You're in the middle of the countryside.
The way I do it is go down the other side of the triangle and do a left. So I sort of miss them.
Clever. I'll remember that next time. Anyway, your Alexander House.
Yes. So they went to Alexander House to have a meal. They walked in and they heard this voice just went, "Nice shoes." And my brother-in-law turned round. It's John Travolta.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what was he doing in Turners Hill?
Scientology.
I suddenly was he there for the Scientology?
Yeah.
Of course. Nice shoes.
I went there because we got given it as a present, like a meal there or something, and I saw Dapper Laughs.
No.
Remember him? Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, and it was like the week after he'd done his. I think it was in hiding there. The week after he did his.
I must go to this place. It seems like everyone hangs out there.
Anyone there. Everyone from Dapper Laughs to John Travolta.
We were in Norwich recently, which is a beautiful city. And anyway, we went and sat down in a restaurant and, just sat. And then suddenly I hear this voice at the next table comes over, Joe Pasquale. So there you go. Listen, you're not the only people meeting celebrities in restaurants.
Wow.
I served Stephen Fry in Pizza Express once.
No,
What?
did you?
Did you?
when I was in college, I worked in Pizza Express.
We could do a whole episode on that.
How was it?
I was shaking like a leaf.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh,
Literally shaking like a leaf, and I don't mean this badly, but I wasn't actually serving. I removing things from the table. I was a bit further down the pecking order, than that. And
You're involved.
I was removing plates and glasses from next to him, and he didn't look up, which is fair enough because he was not in a rude way, as in he shouldn't have done. But it was one of those jobs where you are utterly invisible. Do you know those jobs where you people don't know you exist?
Yeah.
So, but I was sort of shaking as I removed the glass from next to him.
My son just stopped work. He worked at Wagamama's for a couple of years, and I hope that I'm sure all three of us always treat people beautifully, but so many people don't. Anybody listening, if you go to any restaurant, just be nice.
Yeah.
Because
they could end up having their own podcast.
Mr. Fry.
And all the worm has turned.
David.
yeah.
Why are you moving to Devon? What's that all about? Midlife crisis?
Definitely that going on.
He's down there already. He's moved.
I'm here already.
Yeah. So, but why? What happened?
I was really bored of Sussex, so this is taking a little turn now.
You told me you'd done all the walks. Remember? You went,
I'd done all the walks.
yeah.
I'd done all
I
the
thought that was one of the funniest reasons to move like 500 miles.
Well, it'd
I've
be
done
rainy on a Sunday, and we go, where should we walk? Oh, I've done that. Where should we do? Oh, I've done that. Let's move to Devon.
That's great. That's a long way away, Devon, though. It takes a long time to get to. I mean, depending where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I'm not missing it.
Okay.
That high street through Hartfield, you know as well as I do.
I love the way we've bigged up Sussex, and now we're just chipping away.
Listen, it's beautiful. But I would say to anyone at Hartfield, stop parking on both sides of the high street, because there's not room for 2 cars to get down that road.
Yeah. Well, when you said, we're thinking possibly coming back to Sussex, I was like, okay.
No, but don't. It's listen. It's where it's. How long have you been there, David?
What, Sussex?
Yeah,
47 years.
exactly. Whereas I was there for 18 years, so I've got 29 years left to get bored.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
given I'm 51, I should probably get a move on.
Oh yeah.
Don't you
Well,
think?
just yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're dying soon, mate.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
If you told me we could fill 24 minutes with Hartfield chat, I wouldn't have believed you.
We haven't got started, mate.
No, I really haven't.
So my friend Ed Shaw, right? So my friend Ed Shaw, who grew up in Hartfield. That's the only time I went to Hartfield when I was younger. And my friend Lucy Buck also grew up in Hartfield. So I've got 2.
Sorry, Richard, what year would this have been when you went to Hartfield to play with Eddie?
That would have to play with Eddie. That would have been 85, 86.
Fuck me, I was there then.
Yeah, wow.
I've been on different swings.
Did you still have the beard?
No, I'd started backcombing my hair like Robert Smith.
Yeah,
It was very
it sounded like a
fashionable
lot
back
of people doing that you knew.
then. Anyway, so Eddie Shaw, who's a lovely fellow. He's an electrician in South London now. He and I, when we were at Walden Park, we did a rap version of the Nativity in assembly. Right, and I've never. It was kind of terrible, but it was the era of the Beastie Boys, but I'd never forgotten it. And when I was on Graham Norton last year, and Will Smith was on, right before the incident. This is before the incident. I don't know if I provoked him. So Will Smith's on, like the most famous man in the world, pretty much. And I was able to recite my rap to him. I was able to rap in front of him this thing we'd done in school assembly. And I was able to get Will Smith right down the barrel just to say hi to Eddie Shaw, my friend. It was so great.
That's nice.
That's Will Smith's connection to Hartfield now.
Yeah. Where did Eddie Shaw live in Hartfield?
They still live there. His mum still lives there.
Where
on the sort of down towards the Forest Row end of the High Street.
Right.
Just before the turn off to what's the place beginning with M near Hartfield?
Maresfield.
Just before the Maresfield.
Look how quick you're in, Maresfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know that red brick house was struck by lightning when we were there? One of the chimneys, and this huge chimney, like 15 foot high, just crashed to the floor.
Wow.
And the fire brigade came. We had to be pulled out of the living room window because it was too dangerous, because it was sort of toppling. And we stayed in this little old lady's flat. And I'm wondering if that's Eddie Shaw's mum.
It might be. That'd be cool.
Also might not be, let's be honest.
That house that David lived in, we drove past it this weekend and commented upon it. So it looks like a house from a horror film a bit.
Yeah, it's spooky.
It's
It is spooky.
It stands by itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about it. And there's nothing behind it. It's all those fields and everything.
Oh,
it's
amazing
kind of
views.
nuts, yeah.
And that top flat, it's like a rabbit warren. It's incredible. But anyway, come on.
But that would be a lovely thing for people.
Now you say anyway. Why are you saying anyway now?
Let's move on to East Sussex.
Our friend here, exactly. Wow, that's amazing. Our friends in Chichester, Singleton, the Weald Downland Open Air Museum. You ever been there?
No.
That's where they filmed the repair show. It's where we went on our school trips when I was at primary school, right? And it's got houses, like just recreations of houses from every age of history, like from 13th century, 14th century. And so we went there on our school trips. And it's really, really amazing. And it's where they filmed the repair shop now. They were filming.
Where's that? Singleton?
Singleton, yeah.
Never heard of it. That's got to be your neck of the woods, Joe.
Just outside Goodwood.
Oh, there.
right.
So about 40 minutes away.
this is
I'm always adding something. That's the thing. I won't say a lot, but when I do, it will be factually nearly spot on.
Joe, I'll tell you where else we were this weekend. Southwick, that is nearer you.
That is. What are you doing at Southwick?
That's where my aunt lives, my Auntie Jan.
I played football against Southwick. in the Sussex League. I think
This is like talking to Roy Keane.
couldn't give me 40 seconds there, could you, boy?
Sorry. Go on.
I was in Southwick on Saturday as well.
No,
Blah, blah.
No, because I cut through because the road along the front had lights, so I went through Southwick.
Well, the old Shoreham Road is backed up as well at the moment. Crazy.
Well, if you know your way around Southwick, you can cut through. We were going to Dunelms, so
Lovely.
cut through that way.
The things I remember when they blew up the towers of the Southwick Power Station. That was great. We all went and had a picnic, and they blew the towers up.
I've always wanted to do that, where you watch it.
It was great. It was really exciting.
Oh my god!
Do you know the old concrete works in Shoreham?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Oh, the one in the middle of nowhere.
I filmed in there. We made a short film in there.
I don't think you should.
I played football against them.
It's going to fall.
What's that? We just jumped over the fence, and made a little film.
Yeah, but it looks like it could crumble at any moment.
It's really dangerous.
But that's where, you know, Millionaires Row?
Yes, of course.
It's sort of where Shoreham meets Hove, really.
Just
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call it Shoreham, but listen, that's me.
Same, Richard.
But that's where they've all lived. Fatboy Slim was there. Nick Bailey was there.
I sat on the beach with my son, who was 4 at the time, and just sat right next to Fatboy Slim's house, and they were having a barbecue, having a little party on their balcony. It was just me and my little boy just looking up at them.
Well, I told my dad I thought it was Adele's house, so he had his photograph outside the house. And I just happened to mention, I said, "Oh, my dad likes Adele. He had a photo outside the house." And so I shouldn't lived there for about 6 years.
She lives in Turners Hill, or she did. I know where she lives.
Adele?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll take my dad there.
Yeah.
I might take Dad there and go.
Well, I think she's moved. Well, I know she's moved. I'm all over it.
To LA now, right? and by LA, I mean Little Hampton.
Yeah.
McCartney, he's Sussex, isn't he?
I've been to his house.
You haven't been to Paul McCartney's house.
I have. Me and my wife.
What are you doing, roofing?
You've been on top of his house.
He lives near Rye.
Yeah.
Been on top. My wife's like mad on Paul McCartney, so we found his house, and we started driving up his drive. I don't know why. This was 2 years ago. It's not like I was 20. And a guy came out of this little. He said, "What are you doing?"
We based the scene on Cockfields, didn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you've been to his house. You literally meant you trespass.
Yeah, you did sound like dinner party. You were going for. You've been out. We've all accidentally been past famous people's houses. We didn't know it.
It wasn't accidental.
I've been at King Charles's house. You ever been there, Buckingham Palace?
Yeah, I've been past. Yeah, I've been past lots and lots.
Yeah, drove past the gates. Yeah.
Well, do you know where it is? Do you know where Paul McCartney's? Well, anyway.
I don't specifically, and I wouldn't like to. I wouldn't want to dox him.
Well, I do.
I was asked to move on from it.
David, where are you in Devon? Let's give the Devon people some love.
I'm near Totnes. Do you know Totnes?
Yeah. Well, listen, not as well as I know East Grinstead and Forest Road.
Thank the Lord. Thank God.
Can I ask you a question about Forest Road? I'm so sorry, people, but hopefully the specificity of it is so boring it's interesting. It seems like quite a nice countercultural, quite a cool little village.
Yeah, which is we kind of came down to Totnes for that very reason.
Yeah,
but no, Forest Road's great place to be. Yeah,
like
it's just quite busy and there's no central point. We like the idea of it's just a bit of a through road.
Yeah,
isn't it also one of those places that has no pavements?
The pavements are narrow.
Not amazing for pavements, I'll say that.
It annoys me if you had a house and you had to drive everywhere. That would annoy me.
Yeah, I like to be able to walk into a pub or a local town all on pavements. 100%. The countryside is bad for pavements.
You're thinking Forest Row, aren't you? You're just thinking...
we sort of looked at somewhere just north of Forest Row, which was lovely. And we bought a couple of bottles of water in the Forest Road Co-op.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I saw you. You're on Facebook.
My friend Lucy Buck, who grew up in Hartfield, sent me a picture saying, "Oh, you've been spotted." She's obviously on the Forest Grove because they're in
People
Rotherfield.
are weird, aren't they?
Rotherfield, they make good cricket bats, so they did in Rotherfield.
This is great.
Let's throw out towns and just have a little either played against.
Why am I doing this? Why am I so excited by
She
this?
was saying that Mayfield and Wadhurst are lovely places to live. She was telling me where they live in Sussex.
Out of my comfort zone.
No, is that a little bit too
Yeah,
much
so it's
towards
a bit Kent. Yeah, it's too Kent.
Wadhurst always had a good football team.
Yeah, they did. We played Wadhurst. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we did the drive. If anyone wants to do it, if you want to go and see David's former house, we did the drive from Cuckfield, out to Hartfield, but through Horsted Canes, all the way through the forest. The sun was shining. It's one of the most beautiful drives you'll ever do.
It's gorgeous. It's good. I really do recommend.
I
can't work out if you're pro Sussex or not. You two, it's hard to tell.
We both listen. You hate what you love sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Sussex can be a cruel mistress, but she's a mistress all the same.
Do you know who lived in Hartfield? Roger Hargreaves.
He did not.
Yeah, the Mr. Men.
Really?
Yeah, and Brian Jones died in Hartfield in the swimming pool.
Now, we had an argument, me and my friend John Mackey, if he's listening. We went out for dinner on Saturday, and I said that Brian Jones died in Staplefield, and he said he died in Hartfield, and he's right, is he?
Yeah, it was in A.A. Milne's house. He bought his house. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
When you said he lived in Hartfield, I was going to say A.A. Milne, because he did. So A.A. Milne and Roger Hargreaves. Did Roger Hargreaves move there because A.A. Milne had come from there?
I don't know. I don't know that. But I've already jumped onto the guy who wrote.
Do you mean? That's
Jerry Rafferty.
Billy Collins.
Yeah, he lived in Hartfield.
Did he?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've been to. There's only about 8 houses there.
Yeah.
It's like Stella Street.
Yeah.
So it was you, Roger Hargreaves, Jerry Rafferty, and John Travolta sort of renting the cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger. John Travolta doing an Airbnb.
And Eddie Shaw's mum.
And Ross Noble lived in Cowden.
Did he?
Right, I'm out now. I feel like I'm really testing everybody.
Yeah, I'm probably going to look at Facebook at this point.
Davina McCall lived there. Davina McCall.
I've been past. Yeah. She lives in
We
Worcester.
nearly moved on.
I think she's moved, but she bought the house and she didn't realise it was next to the local tip. That's what I heard until she moved in.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I'm just passing on Sussex gossip. Not verified. Okay, I'm just saying.
Ben Elton's amazing, isn't it? I came out the cafe. This is Ben Elton. Like, you're so important to my
In Forest Road.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amazing, isn't it?
it really is amazing. I had so many questions for him, and I had to really ration them out.
Yeah. Joe, wake up, son.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm watching iPlayer. No, it's fine.
Hello, Chatter Biscuits and Chatter Biscuits with nuts, etc. If you're enjoying this podcast, you need to get on our Patreon. You will get early access to ad-free episodes. There'll be videos and behind-the-scenes sneaky pics. It's basically a place where we all hang out together. And also, you'll be given instant access to our Discord community, which is a friendly place where Chatter Biscuits share stuff and talk to one another. It's like a nice Twitter, basically. So just go to patreon.com/chatterbix. Also, Patreon is also an app you can download onto your phone. All for the price for coffee. Once a month, you pay a few quid, and you become a VIP Chatter Biscuit. That's what you like. Sign up at patreon.com/chatterbix. The link is in the description of this episode. There, done. Do you know what? There's over 1,000. We've got over 1,000 patrons at the moment.
Let's do it. Patreon, give it to me. Patreon, I need it, girl. Patreon, give it to me. Patreon, I need it, girl. Patreon.com,
He's literally the only one here who lives in Sussex.
Yeah, yeah, he is. You should be. You should be loving this.
I don't absorb information like you two. Clearly, I don't take it in as much.
And as I said, we have between us, we've got about 70 years of living in Sussex, Joe. So it's come on.
Yeah, I'm only 10 years in.
Yeah.
One last one. Trini and Susanna, they live in Cookfield. One of those.
No.
So yeah, she came
What
to
happened
our
to them?
comedy club.
Which one? One of them's made millions and millions, right, from her from her makeup brand. One of them, I forget which one. Trini, I think.
What about the other one?
I think she was doing. I think they're both doing okay.
Yeah.
I don't want you to worry about either of them, Joe.
I'm so chuffed to get 35 mins out of this. Of Sussex. I thought we'd do a minute and go, haha, very funny. No, we've done half hour on it.
It's the whole thing. I'm so sorry to everybody listening. Also, my publicist will go, "Oh, you've done a podcast. What did they say about the book? They liked it, did they?" I said, "Do you know what? We didn't really mention it. We did an awful lot about we did more on Allborn than I thought we were going to. We did more on Ditchling than I thought we were going to do."
Yeah.
Jamie Theakston, Ditchling.
Yeah, he lives in Ditchling. I had a gardening round in Ditchling.
Yes. I
Well, he grew up in Sussex.
Yes, he played for Ditchling Cricket Club.
And he said that him and his friends, when they were younger, their gang was called the Dukes of Sussex.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
So yeah,
That's lovely.
Fico was round there. I think Zoe Ball is that neck of the woods. Dame Vera Lynn, she was the most famous resident of Ditchling.
Yeah, Zoe Ball's moved out of Millionaires Row. She's up in the.
But Jack and Jill from the nursery rhyme, that's the windmills up at Ditchling.
Oh, is that actually that?
Daily,
Jack and Jill windmill.
What?
No.
Yeah, they're the two windmills. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water because they're windmills, you see.
The windmills up at the top of Brighton.
Yeah. What, Rottingdean?
No, not those ones. The one on the downs, just before Ditchling Beacon in Chailey. This so good.
Yeah. Now I'm back in. I am back in 110% because I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Jack
It's
and
written
Jill.
about those.
Jack fell down and broke his crown. That's the top of the windmill.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know that you can live? There's one of the windmills you can live in.
Yeah, they were up for sale really recently.
They're up for sale, yeah.
Oh, I would love it. And then someone bought them. They looked amazing.
But the trouble was, we went up there like imagining we would buy it.
Did you go look round it?
And there was about 3. Well, no, we went up and had a look at it. It just made us go, let's go and look at the windmill.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, imagine living there. We're driving up. And then there was about, probably in view, about 400 people walking past it.
No.
And I thought, that's a terrible place
What
to
a
live.
shame you're not called Jack Wilkins.
Oh, that was
Without you knowing.
But they were owned by, I won't say by who, but by somebody who's very big on Twitter, owned those houses, owned that house and sold them. And I always fancy going and have a look. But it's an amazing house. You can still look it up. If you look at Shady Windmills for sale, you can still see the cached images of it. And it's amazing.
Windmills. Doing it now.
Rottingdean, that little area.
Oh, do I know Rottingdean? Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
Why do you know Rottingdean? Do you know it?
I do. My granddad was a police officer around all the villages of Sussex, Storrington and Stenning, and then all along the coast. And yeah,
Stenning, I know Stenning.
Well, League of Gentlemen based their village or town on Rottingdean.
Do you know why they stayed there? They did
Because they did a gig at the Comedia.
No,
they were doing the Brighton Fringe, I think.
Oh, and they stayed.
And they stayed in Rottingdean, but I didn't think Rottingdean's that weird.
No, it's not weird. It's Rudyard Kipling was from there, right?
Was it?
I don't.
Yeah, that's where he lived. Rudyard Kipling lived at Rottingdean.
Oh, God, I know nothing.
I mean, a while back because he's no longer with us.
Learn now. We're giving you.
I'm not listening.
He was. Do you know what? Rudyard Kipling, very much the Fatboy Slim of his time, if you think about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Rottingdean's not weird at all, is it?
No. Well, not in the years I've been there. It just seems like a nice place on the outskirts of Brighton.
It's a bad name for a town. What do you think of names? Would you ever move somewhere that has I would find it difficult to move to somewhere called Rottingdean. I think there's certain places where if you're going to have to say the name to people on the phone all the time, you'd like, I think I might leave it.
Yeah.
My nan had an amazing address, but I obviously can't give it out. But it was so lovely.
Well, I told you my mate's from Gibraltar, and he's got like the best world address. I changed it slightly, the number. But if you want to send his parents a letter from anywhere in the world, you need to send it to 78 The High Street, Gibraltar. That's it.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
From anywhere. Fucking nuts.
Well, there's that house, isn't there? Apsley House is number 1 London. That's the address.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because that was the joke in Hello Hello, wasn't it? Herr Flick's address was 1 Berlin.
Oh, there you go. Now, Herr Flick, right?
He's a Jills fan.
Very famous member
Who
of the
might be
Star
coming
Post.
on the pod, Richard?
No.
He might be coming on
Really?
the pod.
Well, let me tell you something about him. So, Richard Gibson, one of the most famous Nazis in British television, the character, not him. But he, as a young boy, he sang at Winston Churchill's funeral.
Did he?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's cool, isn't it?
Have you walked around his house?
I wonder,
No,
I
it's
wonder where he
Churchill's.
lives. It is in Whittlesfield Green. Oh, Churchill's house. I thought you meant how to walk around Richard
No,
Gibson's
no.
house.
Whittlesfield's Green is where I'm pretty sure that is where they filmed the cricket scenes from Ever Decreasing Circles. Whittlesfield Green.
Whittlesfield Green, is that right?
I think so.
Wasn't it-
I might have got that wrong.
But also,
Is
Whittlesfield
Winston
Green.
Churchill's house in Westram?
Yes.
Is that something? Because
Wow. Look at us. We're all just like the Reservoir Dogs. With
well, I'm looking at Richard for the answer. I'm literally waiting for Richard to know. Is that right, Richard?
Sorry, I missed what you said because I was going to start talking about Trumpton and Chigley.
Oh, John. No, I was guessing where Winston Churchill's house was. I had a guess, and then
it is Westram.
Is it
Blenheim
Westram?
Palace, wasn't it? Which is Woodstock in Oxfordshire.
I've definitely walked out around someone.
Yeah,
Well,
I
he lived
thought,
in more than one place. He lived in 10 Downing Street, for example.
Yeah.
yes, he would.
And Kate Bush lived in Westram. And she now lives down here. And Aid Edmondson lives 7 minutes from me.
Does he? Does he? Yeah.
It's shocking how many people have lived near you. We've had this discussion before, Rich, and David will say at least once a week that person lives near me. And you live in a kind of ruralish area, so I'm like, I don't know how it happens.
I tell you who lives near me?
Who?
Theakston, for one.
Al Murray.
Yeah, he lives near me. Even we grew up near each other, and now look at us.
That's strange.
Dara O'Brien, he lives around here. Janet Ellis from Blue Peter. Jeffrey Holland from Heidi High. I bump into Jeffrey Holland a lot. He's a very lovely man.
Yeah. Where are you? Where are you, Richard?
West London.
Yeah, West London, yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember telling me? I saw you a few years ago, and you told me that the night before you were walking home, and you saw a kid watching Pointless on the telly. You were on the telly, and you were really close to tapping on the window. I always remember waving and then just buggering off, knowing full well that his parents would never believe him. And he said that man just went, such a good. I love the fact he just hi and then bugger off.
It'd be so much of a better story if I'd actually done it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know. So good. I think I might have said you did a couple of times.
Oh, that's fine. Listen. Oh, no, sorry, I did. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I was like, he was all like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what? Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And that boy, Roger Daltrey.
No.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
My
I
friend-
thought it was a child. He turned around. It was Roger Daltrey.
I've driven down into his house. I've driven into his house.
My
Joe,
friend Tony
Joe,
came. What?
I've driven into Roger Daltrey's house.
I was adding to it. I was topping that story with my friend Tony came in to school on Monday and said his dad had been working at Roger Daltrey's house and he'd gone with him and he'd jumped on his trampoline and none of us believed him.
Was
He
it
lives in
true?
Burwash. Lives in Burwash.
Yeah, that probably was.
Burwash.
That's where Rudyard Kipling lived, Burwash.
He was rotting
Yeah,
beans
'cause
as well,
he's-
Kipling.
Right, because his house, yeah, I've walked around his house.
I think his cake factory was in Burwash.
Who is?
I think his cake factory was in Burwash.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. When I spoke to Lucy Lumsden, do you know Lucy Lumsden, Richard?
I do, yes, Sky
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Yeah.
Oh, she lives near you, I think.
Probably does. She said, so I was moved down here. She said, why didn't you become friends with Aid Edmondson and Jennifer Saunders? And I was like, can I do that? How do I do that?
I don't think that's how it works.
How do I become
Aid
friends?
Edmondson is one of those people. I'm trying to think. You know, if you do meet people who you really grew up just adoring, it's quite a scary moment. And I remember meeting Aid for the first time, and just he is one of the loveliest men you could ever possibly meet. And even more than that, is the first time I met Bob Mortimer. And you're thinking, please be lovely. Yeah. And he was so delightful. And he just said, all is well with the universe when you meet one of your heroes. And they're not just being like, but you just think, oh, you're a lovely, funny, kind man.
I did a gig. I used to run a little gig in Brighton in this room that held like 28 capacity. And I came out on stage to present the night. Bob Mortimer was front row. Wow. Just in this 25, like out of nowhere.
Wow.
It was so off-putting.
It's horrible.
Yeah. But we met him after. I've only met him then, and he was lovely,
When I met BT, Jennifer Saunders and Aid Edmondson's daughter, I didn't know how to behave. It was, you kind of go, you can't ask someone, can you ask someone about their parents? You go, because I love French and Saunders and like the Dangerous Brothers and everything. And I was like, and I just remember thinking, you're made by them. Like, that, I just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, because Joe, made by, you know what, when you really think about what you're asking.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just couldn't get my head around it. But I was like, hi, nice to meet you. On the surface, I was very casual.
We did a House of Games where Aid and BT came on and played against each other, which is great fun.
Yeah.
I want to get all three of them on at some point on the same show.
Richard, can I now ask you a question that seems a bit boring?
Yeah.
It seems a bit boring after 45 minutes of Sussex chat. It's about a plastics moulding program.
Listen, it's the end of the evening. Everyone's coming down. We just chill people out a tiny bit because everyone's had too much fun.
I don't quite know what I want to ask you, but it's to do with how you got from Haywards Heath to... What was your little journey from Haywards Heath to...
Say top of the mountain.
Top of the mountain. In like 30 seconds.
It's a good question. I went to lovely Warden Park and Haywards Heath Sixth Form College. Got enough A-levels to go to university. I went to university, moved to London because in those days you could get housing benefits, so you were able to do it and pay for it, and then applied for a researcher's job on a computer games program from a newspaper, got the job, and I haven't had a day off since. So it's just knowing about telly. I love telly. And so the second I could get into a room and persuade someone how much I love telly, they let me in. What
was your? Did you come up with lots of telly ideas? Have you done? Is that what you've done?
Yeah, that's my vibe, really. Yeah, I did. Yeah, inventing shows and then sort of shepherding them a little bit, and that's a nice. But the thing is, when I started working in telly, which is, again, early 90s, no one in telly really watched it. So you could go in and just go, well, we should do a program like this. We should do this program. We should do that program, and everyone would go, okay, that sounds fair enough. No one really cared, and I loved telly, but everyone was sort of quite posh and slumming it a little bit, and got friends because they've got jobs because their dads worked somewhere, and so I was just able to go in, and I was lucky in that regard, in that it was something that I loved, and that if you've done something for 20 years, which I had at that point, watched telly, then you've just got a natural instinct for what you want to watch.
If you hear the seed of an idea now, someone comes up with something, are you pretty confident now to go, yeah, that'd work?
That'll work.
Yeah, instantly. And because almost nothing works is the truth. And most people, if they pitch you stuff, which they do, and that's great, it's always been made before, but because there's loads more telly made than you think. Yeah, usually you got the 1 day, 2 day, 3 day thing that if you hear an idea and you love it, then sleep overnight. Almost always the next morning you go, oh no, it doesn't work because X. But if it lasts for a second day, you're like, okay. And then if on the third morning you still can't object, you think, okay, we'll go full steam ahead and try and then with quizzes and stuff, you develop months and months and months of honing, focusing. But you only would do that if in the beginning you've got something and you think, oh yeah, this has got, like when Pointless started, there's a nugget of something there. And so then you develop and develop and develop.
What was I was going to ask you a question? Bear with. I don't mind silence.
No, I was going to say, I've got one word, David. We've got one word for Richard, haven't we? Pyramide.
No, yeah. I sort of want to say, Deal or No Deal is the greatest show ever made.
Yes, agreed. People say sometimes, can you tell if a show's going to be a hit, right? People always say it. And my answer is always, you never, ever, ever. Sometimes I'm taken completely by surprise that something does well. Sometimes you think something's nailed on, it does badly. Deal or No Deal was the only show we ever did. But I knew from second one of show one that it was going to be huge.
Richard, hang on a minute. Did you have your fingers all over Deal or No Deal?
All over Deal or No Deal, yeah.
You know, we've dedicated episodes of this podcast.
I know.
We've done about 50 episodes.
I'm obsessed with it.
And never mentioned me. Well, listen, I'd tell you literally everything about it. I could tell you who we did the pilot with before Noel came in. I could tell you how the pilot was when we did it with Noel.
Why have we talked about Sussex for 50 minutes? This is insane.
And Deal, as we all know, is in Kent. So,
yes.
That's a segue.
Let's bring it back to Kent. Now, let's talk about Kent. No, let's talk about Deal on...
Well, my thing is, I don't want to rush this. So I'd really love you to come back on next week.
But Richard, can I ask one thing? Who did the pilot before? No.
Well, listen, I'll come back. Yeah.
Honestly,
let's do a Deal or No Deal special. I was in there. I'll tell you what, I'll bring the banker on with me if you'd like.
What?
A very good friend of mine.
We've been trying to get hold of the banker.
Have you?
Yeah.
In your head, what's his name?
I met him, didn't I?
Did you?
I met him very, very briefly when the spin-off one, the mashup.
Yeah.
Do you remember the mashup?
I do remember the mashup. I don't know if he was still the banker at that point, but he may have been.
Oh, well, yeah. Was he used to be an actor?
Yeah.
And he does it from a little room, and it's like at the side of the stage or somewhere.
Yeah.
And you guys were in there, and then someone said, "Do you want to come in and see the banker?" I don't think I spoke to him. I just stood behind Rick.
Yeah. Listen, I'll talk to him. He'll come on. We'll do
oh my God, that'd be incredible.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this to you, Richard. I'm sure if I'll get in trouble. But I played this on Twitch on Friday nights. Oh, it's such fun.
God, I bet it is. What Deal or No Deal on Twitch?
Yeah, if you didn't get a certain amount, I'd ban you from my channel. So that was the jeopardy.
Oh, really? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Listen, I'll talk to the cows come home about that.
Amazing.
We'll give you all the origin story.
Was this it? Whose original idea was it?
It was the end game of a Dutch lottery show.
Right.
Funnily enough. So it was
Please, no more questions, Joe. Please, this is too serious. This is...
Sorry, it was the end game of a Dutch, and that's what spun off that monster of a show.
Yeah.
I remember reading about a pilot, Richard. I don't know if you remember it. I think you and I were talking about it, Joe. I don't know if it's Jason Manford, but it was about two mothers of the contestants having to cook against one another.
Right.
Remember that? And they did a pilot. It just sounded like the funniest and best show. Basically, it was mothers cooking against the clock.
I'll tell you a great idea for the banker. In fact, has just got a show. You know, The Mole, which is always a great show. Which is, you have to work the group activities.
Someone's
working against you.
Yeah,
he's done that, but for cooking, like teams of cooks. But one of them, and it's called "There's a Rat in My Kitchen," and someone is trying to sabotage the cooking at all times.
Well, so they put like loads of salt in it, or something.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Oh wow! Every time I hear an idea like that, and you go, "Oh yeah, well done."
Richard, how many pilots have you made that have failed?
Oh God, that's a good question. I'd never say they failed, because the point with the pilot is it's not going to happen. That's always my thing. Of you just give it a go. I'd say maybe we have a 33% success rate. Obviously, these days they make fewer pilots, maybe a bit more. We're not bad. Because normally if we pilot, we've done an awful lot of work beforehand. We tend not to go straight to pilot on things. So if we're making a pilot, we're fairly sure.
And if you do a pilot,
Yeah.
and say you do a pilot and it doesn't go, do you see that pilot as dead, or will try and that might come around in 5 years?
And if there's something you love in it, you use it for parts. I mean, Pointless was we did a series with Tim Britt Taylor and Graham Garden on Channel 4 called Beat the Nation. It was a quiz. And the idea of Beat the Nation was we asked every question to 100 people, so you knew exactly how difficult each question was, which is something I was sort of obsessed with, is how do you make questions fair? So this sort, you ask each question to 100 people, so, you know, and the fewer people know, the more points you score. And so we made a couple of series of that and it went off air. But we always loved that mechanic so much that's when the guys who started developing Pointless, they sort of took that and turned it into a completely different show. So if you sort of rip yourself off is the point. If you've got something that you really love that didn't go, I've got 3 or 4 things still in a drawer that I know are mechanics that will work at some point. That's what House of Games is, really.
Right.
House of Games is loads of rounds for shows that, you know, wouldn't make the whole show, but you put them together.
When House of Games, basically, I've got friends who are utterly obsessed with but with the House of Games, I was just like, that seems like such an obvious idea now you've done it. You know what I mean? Where you just go, let's just play some games. And and you go, it's so much fun to watch. And it's just what, I don't know, you know, where you go, that's just obvious now.
Well, you know what, it's funny, it's that typical TV thing of, you know, I always was obsessed with the idea of doing a quiz show which had a celebrity quiz show which brought the same people back all the time, because that to me is fun. And they would always go, no, always got to be new people, and then as soon as the first series of Taskmaster came out, they were like, you'd say, I want to do this show with the same people, come back, they go, oh, like Taskmaster? You go, yeah, like that. They go, okay, let's do it. I think, come on, lads.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's such because you build this. The whole point of those shows is you build a little bit of soap opera. You know, you've got, and then you can play all these silly games and ridiculous games because you can play something that might have an element of unfairness in it, because you know that tomorrow you're coming back and you've got a chance to make good on it. And you know, it's everything I've ever known as a TV producer. I just put into that show just to make it really streamlined and simple and enjoyable and fun for everyone to make and to watch.
I remember when we did Taskmaster, you remember the potato in the whole thing?
Oh my God, do I?
But do you remember what you did? But do you remember what you did in that? Because I remember it really clearly. You managed to make that.
Is Richard overseeing all this, Joe? Is he behind you? Watching?
No.
No, what goes on when it's being filmed? Is he...
What, in Taskmaster? You're not involved.
You're not involved in Taskmaster, Richard?
No, I was a contestant.
Oh, you're a contestant? Sorry.
No, but do you remember what you did? You managed to make that drama drag out in a good way. I didn't mean it badly, but do you remember what you did? Because I clocked it. You were the one who said, get me out of the room, and then you added all that tension. And do you remember?
No, that's good.
And I was like, and I just saw how your brain worked in that moment.
Oh, was that like, we all wanted it, we had to discuss whether we thought we should give you the point.
Yeah, but you orchestrated all of that. And I was like, oh, that's it. And I pretended to go out the room, and then I was watching what you were doing, and you made the drama of it.
Oh, well, if you've got a whole career in doing something, and that which is producing, it's just, I just wanted, it's about getting as much, if you've got a good moment, you know, get as much value out of it as possible.
But no one else saw that. Like, no one else saw, like, that was about to just end that bit, wasn't it? You know, it was going to be
funny, like, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It was an amazing thing. But Greg was about to say, I remember it so clearly, and I think they clipped it out. He was about to say, you can't, you know, it's over because your foot touched the thingy or whatever. And I remember you went, no, let's, why don't we make it a decision, Joe go out of the room, and there's all this drama and the audience just sort of ramped up, and I was like, it's just really interesting. I was on there, it became like a 10-minute.
It's fun, but that's the lovely thing about Taskmaster is you can, some shows you'll know, you go on, you're slightly on train tracks. There's sort of not a huge amount you can do. Certain shows like Taskmaster, Cats Does Countdown, you can sort of, they want you to step outside. You know, they want you to break the format because it's such a strong format. It can hold you in. That's the lovely. That's what I loved about Taskmaster. You're always able to try something or do something or say something. And some shows you go on, it's like, no, you do your bit, then the next person does their bit. The shows where you can be yourself are much more fun, harder to produce, but much more fun.
Richard, here's a question on the spot. Top 3 game shows of all time, in your opinion?
That's a good question. Well, listen, number 1 is pretty easy, I would say. I think number 1 is Family Fortunes. Because of the question mechanic in there, which is, I mean, you would never run out of questions. You know, we'd say, name something you find in a bathroom. But with a quiz show, with a game show, to me, it's all about, are people playing along, right? That's all I really care about, right? Are people engaged in this? And if I say to you, name 5 things you find in a bathroom, every single person listening to this is going, oh, well, so towels. It's impossible. It's impossible not to play. And that's so lovely and simple. And the mechanic of it is kind of fine, and it's a tiny couple of little clunky things in there. But just in terms of the question mechanic, that's such a Rolls Royce. And so many people have had that show and done that show, and it never stops working, because it's just kind of, you know, name a romantic country. You know, you think, oh, okay, France, I guess. Where's romantic? It's just, there's no general knowledge required at all, so no one feels stupid.
That's true, yeah.
A kid can beat an adult at that. You know, couples can play against each other. It's just, you know, that to me is the best format of all time. Weakest Link is an amazing format, and one I'm really annoyed I didn't think of, because it's just the voting off mechanic I like to replace. You know, and again, I saw a BBC commissioner once say, the thing about a good quiz show is you have to be able to explain it in 2 sentences. And you're like, the biggest hit you just had is Weakest Link. Explain that to me in 2 sentences. You cannot do it. Well, we'll start with 8 people, and we have a whole series of questions, and you can bank. You're building up money to a maximum jackpot. The jackpot is smaller in the first round than it will be in the subsequent rounds. But if at any point you feel like your 3 questions are going to win, you can bank. You will then go back to 0. You then have to start again at 0 and keep going. But it's impossible to explain. You play it once and see it. And like Deal or No Deal, funnily enough. So that's an absolute Rolls Royce. And then something which breaks all of those molds would be something like University Challenge, and Only Connect is a very worthy sort of companion to that, which is a show where we're sort of not playing along.
Not at all.
We slightly are, but only in that thing of, I wonder if there's going to be a question about indie music in a minute that I'm going to be able to get. Or if they say which composer, well, I'm going to say Debussy, and we'll see where we go. But it's sort of more of a soap opera of seeing those characters. And so that's a show that if you pitched it, people would go, I mean, no one's going to watch that because it's much too hard and it's just some students. I mean, that's the worst idea anyone's ever had.
It does.
Yeah, it is shit.
You know, so for 3 very different reasons, those would be my choices.
Do you know a show that I love and sort of go back to sometimes? Probably more a panel show is Give Us a Clue.
Oh, yeah, great.
I love how cosy it is. I like the carpet. I like Lionel Blair.
How did Give Us a Clue work again?
Charades.
Was that the charades? Yes.
I love how just intimate it is, and
yeah, win, lose or draw as well.
Yeah.
Danny Baker used to do. I love it. That's what I like with House of Games. We don't have an audience. It's the same people. You just sit there. Just anything where you can form a club, and everyone feels involved. You know, I love those very gentle things, and then and you can be very funny and rude and silly in a very gentle show. And I find so that's my perfect combination.
There was also me and David talk about this. There's also the game shows where it was really just about the people. You know, like Strike It Lucky, or the Bruce Forsyth Play Your Cards Right. It was all about the host.
Oh God, yeah, like 20 minutes of the half hour.
20 minutes.
We did. I curated some old game shows for the BFI. They said, "Would you sort of?" And I said, "Of course." And Bob's Full House, so Bob Monkhouse, and you play across a bingo card. And Bob would start with some stand up, And yeah, it was a 29-minute show, and the first question was asked at 11 minutes 45 seconds. And you're like, wow, because the rule is
Amazing.
ask your question, ask your first question immediately. Really.
Well, Strike It Lucky was like that, wasn't it? Just
I
meeting
think
all
Strike It Lucky
yeah.
was near about 17 minutes.
It was a vehicle for stand-ups, really.
Yeah, and Barrymore was king, really, wasn't he?
He was amazing at that for sure.
Yeah, I was just saying, it was just all about. I was going to ask about that. That is like, if you everything, sorry, but like the about getting the right people on those shows.
Yeah, how many pilots have you done where you've gone, just need a new presenter, but the game works as a...
Yeah,
is
it's really interesting.
common?
It's really interesting. Quite often, it's a weird one. Finding presenters is really hard. So people always go, "Oh, there's millions of people you could try," and actually, there's not many people you could try. It's quite hard doing it. It's a combination of things you need to host a quiz show. Really, you do need some TV discipline, and you need to sort of slightly know what you're talking about, and you need to understand Jeopardy, and you need to be able to talk to people. So it's a combination of things you need. Yeah, we famously years ago did a show. There's two guys called David Flynn and Adam Adler who created loads of things. Adam went on to create The Cube, and David went on to create £1 Million Drop, and is one of the best behind
£1 Million Drop.
So these are good. God. These are smart guys, and they created a show called Shafted, which again had a really good mechanic. It had that split or steel mechanic that we used at the end of Golden Balls as well, where you can lose all your money. But it was a really good show. But Robert Kilroy Silk was the host. It was just one of those, sometimes it's someone's moment. There's like 2 weeks where you go, "Oh, what about Kilroy? He would be a good host." Right. And you watch the first one, you go, "Oh no, that's not right." In the same way that Anne Robinson's perfect for Weakest Link and probably not perfect for Countdown, because the energy is very, very different. Sometimes you watch it. But yeah, lots of times, you don't get quite the right host. But I mean, very few people could do it, is the truth.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking to Ruth about, maybe it was you actually, just talking about kind of.
Are you explaining who Ruth is to the
yeah, you're going to explain who Ruth is?
Ruth Phillips, who is one of the top people at Zeppotron.
Oh, she's brilliant.
And he's going to explain who Zeppotron is?
Zeppotron is a company based in London. They've been going for...
They make Would I Lie to You, Cats Does Countdown, Wanker Nation, all sorts of good things.
Like How Good Jimmy Carr is.
Yeah.
She said, like, if you've got a new idea in that world and you get Jimmy involved, there's a good chance it will go, because he is so good at being in the middle of something, isn't he?
He's got a producer's brain, and funnily enough, that's what, as we'll talk about on the next episode, that's what his genius is he understands a show as a producer. He understands it from the inside, right? And he's got that control. It's just reading a room and just working out which bits need to be plumped up and which bits need, it's that skill. And yeah, Jimmy,
they're a rare beast.
You give him any format, and if it goes wrong, it's the format's fault, not Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's one of those things that people don't see as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? They've no idea.
Well, in football, when people say, "Oh my God, that Arsenal game, Odegaard ran the game," and I'm watching, I go, "What? I didn't see him touch the ball." But football people know. They go, "Oh no, that was." You didn't see what he was doing.
There's loads of players like that.
While you were watching something else.
We haven't got a clue, and you go, they must be doing something because they're in every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You think, Jordan Henderson presumably is brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think, he doesn't score. He doesn't score any goals. Never saved a penalty, is he?
I can't imagine being hired by you, Richard, to present Wonky Balls or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's the pilot, and there's 3 members of the public, and I'm just staring at the members of the pub. I don't know what I'm doing, Richard.
Okay, get Noel in.
Get Noel in.
Have you got time for one last question, Richard?
Of course I have.
All right. Did your front of camera... this is what I heard. It might be true. Did your front of camera life start because you stood in for your Pointless role for a run through, sorry, and it just worked? Is that how it began?
Any time we set a show, especially a quiz, we always just play it through. So this is pre-pilot, pre-anything. You play it through in a room for the BBC, just as I say, because you can't explain the quiz. So let's play it. And my very good friend Tom Blakeson, who's a brilliant Chris producer, does the wheel now for Michael McIntyre. He was the host, and I played this co-host. So because of Point, there's lots of lists. We thought we need someone to give out some information that's part of the fun of that show. And so Tom was the producer, was the presenter, and I was the co-presenter. And at the end, they had the idea of Zander doing it because he'd just been talking about Countdown. And they thought, wow, he's a great person who's happy to do daytime TV. So they talked to him, and they couldn't think of someone for the other role. And I guess they'd worked with me a lot. I guess the BBC, they sort of met. I've been in meetings that they knew that I could sort of I like to make people laugh and what have you. So they just said, well, would you do it? And I thought, having no ambitions, genuinely no ambitions in that area, I thought, well, listen, it'll go for one series and then it'll disappear, and it's just a nice story to be able to tell.
How right you were, Richard.
Yeah, as always, how right I was. So yeah, a complete accident.
Wow,
fun accident.
And you're not doing it now. You've
yeah, all done. I'm doing the Point of Celebrities, but yeah, I just with the books, I don't have the time.
It's a big old commitment,
Richard,
isn't it?
you've got 9 seconds to mention your book.
It's called The Bullet, the Mist. Lots of it is set in Sussex. If you're interested in the various Sussex villages, it's all there.
I've just started the audio, but Leslie Manfield.
Oh, great!
I love her voice.
Yeah, she's so good.
Yeah. How did you get Leslie?
She, we sort of sent it to her, and she just said yes immediately. Funnily enough, the third one, she wasn't able to do it. She's playing Princess Margaret. And Fiona Shaw immediately said, "Oh, because they're best mates." She said, "Oh, I would love to do it if Leslie's unavailable." So we got Fiona Shaw doing it.
Oh,
I think, wow, this is great, and they're both so brilliant.
I'm sorry I haven't talked about your book.
Oh God, don't worry at all. We can cover that in the Deal or No Deal episode.
Yeah. Oh, would you really come back and talk about Deal or No Deal?
You know, like our listeners know how fascinated we are by Deal or No.
And also, I like the fact that we've done so little research. We haven't gone. We need to go in heavy on Deal or Don't.
I mean, my name was literally exec producer for many years. It's there on the credits.
I used to get back. I think my wife and I used to record it, but we used to watch it in the evening. So we used to record it and watch it, settle down at 8:30.
I genuinely trying to work out how long I watched it for and enjoyed it without not really quite knowing what was happening.
What Deal or No Deal?
Yeah, I genuinely, for the first year, I loved it.
It's pretty
I was
simple.
still really baffled what was happening.
I'll lend you this.
I think
Piece of cake.
I've got the original script for it somewhere where I was trying to hone down into like 3 sentences what the format was, and it's which is something you have to do. And it's I think if I've got it somewhere, I'll find it. But it just tells you exactly what the premise is, super, super, super quickly.
One last question: would it be possible to ever bring it back? Or is
it'll come back 1,000,000%. It's going. Like, Big Brother's coming back. There's no way Deal or No Deal is not coming back to British TV. It's such a look at everything that comes back now. I'd say give it 2 years, 3 maybe. Of course, it'll be back.
with the new host, do you think like that's the new thing?
Listen, I'm no longer involved in Endemol. My guess would be it'd be with a new host, just because that's the way that things happen.
That's what I thought. Like you.
Oh, that host is so important.
Yeah. That's
right. I've got okay. If you had to, if gun to head, and you had to say new host for Deal or No Deal, whose name?
I would say gun to head, Mel Giedroyc.
Really, she that good?
She's brilliant. She's a different vibe to Noel. You can't have someone with the same vibe.
No, she's funny.
Can you not have the same vibe?
I don't think you can. I don't think because it'd be unfair on the new host.
Yeah.
No.
Let it go, David.
Mel, you heard it here first.
But I don't know. I have no. It could well be.
No, I'd love it. I know you heard it here first, guys.
You heard it.
This is official. This is official.
Yeah.
The new host.
This will be all over Chortle.
Which has always been my dream.
Oh, thanks so much, Richard.
If you would come on again and talk about Dylan,
yeah, stop saying that to him.
I know. I'm too needy. David will say, "I'll clip that bit out where you got too needy."
No, it's a date, and I will bring the banker. We will tell you tales.
Wow.
Wow. Just wow. And on that bombshell.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day.
You
Thanks
too.
again.
See you soon.
Bye.
Take care.